What is up? It is I, Juliet Whiskey, and tonight we are not doing an intro. I'm tired and I just want to go straight into the topic at hand, which is procedures, specifically procedures when it comes to hex crawls. I think one of the things that we forget about as DMs and as people teaching other people to DM is the focus on how to do specifically the thing or how the order of the thing goes. The procedure that we're specifically going to be looking at today comes from GFC's D&D YouTube channel. Shout out to him. He was kind of the first video where I saw someone actually finally break down how to do it. So we're going to kind of cover his 6-step method. And it's actually pretty simple. If you get a chance to go look at his video, like, share, subscribe, you know, the whole nine. But step 1 is describe the surrounding hex to the player. Step 2, the players will end up picking a direction. Step 3, you're going to check for a lost chance of the players. Step 4, you're going to check if there's any encounters, so this is where your tables come into play. Step 5 will be generating a feature for the hex if one does not already exist. And step 6 is actually just step 1 all over again. You describe the surrounding area to the players, and the players pick another direction, and it starts all over again. Some of the things that I really like about it is that it's very simplistic and very easy to go. Like, one of the big noteworthy things to take away from this whole situation is that you only roll an encounter once per day, and if you do have an encounter, then you roll additionally for win in the day. However, the other thing that I kind of don't like about the system is that you really are depending on the random generator for features. I prefer having features be something that you put in so that you can build a story around it, not just something that just happens to pop up. But to each their own, it's a system, and it's a system that you can use yourself. Once again, that creator's name is GFC's D&D. Check him out on YouTube. Shout out to him. And like always, thank you for stopping.
It feels weird because I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything new under this. I'm saying the things that I wanted to hear, I needed to hear when I was starting to come up as a DM. Session 0. That's something that somebody should have right over my head. And even to this day, I still have an extremely hard time with Session 0. Session 0 is beyond important. This is how you and your players come to almost a contractual agreement of what this game is about to be. I've skipped over them so many times and paid for it so many times that it's finally sunk in even with me. So please sit down, have a Session 0 so that you and your players can understand. If you don't fully comprehend what a Session 0 is, even after I just give you the slight explanation, Google it. Session 0, Tabletop RPGs. Do it. There's 1,000,005 videos on it. I'm just trying to get you in the general right direction. So all we got this time.
As I, Juliet Whiskey, and today I was working on building a player character for my D&D module. We haven't come up with a name yet, something ranking, that's all I really got. But in the process of doing that, I was in Player Handbook 1, 5e, in the adventuring section. Well, the adventuring section covers all the hex stuff that I was talking about previously. However, it's only 6 pages. Everything that I'm talking to you about in Player Handbook is only 6 pages. I need to go into the Dungeon Master Guide and really see what they say about it. But that, I don't know, that just frustrates me. Because they expect you to just do a lot of math instead of just kind of making a simple point system like the other guy did. Anyways, that's all I got. Let me know if you find like any weird things that you're like, this should be a whole lot more inside of any of the D&D stuff. That's all I got this time. Thank you for stopping by, Sam. So, we're going off the rails. I had a lovely script written up specifically about talking about populating the sandbox and what we did over the weekend and all the projects and stuff. And then it's really just kind of hit me in the jaw. What is the table? Okay, look, table is something simple. It's literally, hey, you roll this is the result of it. So we're going to use my 2d6 table for the upcoming sandbox that we're trying to build. Right, it's for a place called the Scrublands, where one of the factions known as the Rat Kingdom is. We'll talk about factions in another video. Just want to focus on the table. So on the table, we use 2d6. Why 2d6? It's a bell curve. There's a higher likelihood of certain things happening and a lower likelihood of other things happening. So for instance, if you want to have a red dragon attack, but you don't want it to happen every 5 feet, you put it at the lower end of the bell curve. A 2 or a 12 causes a red dragon to attack. In mine, 7, 6, and 8, nothing happens, because that's the majority of your adventure. 9 out of 10 times, nothing happens. You get there safely. But just outside that bell curve, stuff happens. Like the party comes across an abandoned camp. What does it mean? Is it mysterious? Ooh. And you build a story based around that. So make sure you build your tables and build it for your locale. For instance, on our table, for the Rat Kingdom faction, guess what? There's a scout party. And for the townsfolk, because you are walking from a town to the faction location, you can run into a roving party of town people trying to defend the locale. Tables, 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 and chairs. No chairs. Don't do chairs. This is WWE. Anyways, that's all I really got for
What's up,
today.
spirits? This is Juliet Whiskey, and this is going to be one of those more stream of conscious ones than it is an actual full production. Today I really wanted to talk about downtime in games. One of the things that always used to drive me nuts, because I used to see it and I used to understand it, and it's these great kind of cliff notes to moving personal stories forward, but I could never figure it out. And today I actually came across a Matt Colville video. I'm probably saying his name wrong. And he just laid it out so plainly and so simply for me that it makes sense. In between each major event, as a DM, you should be taking like 2 to 3 weeks to rest and run smaller stories with individual players. That's all you do for downtime. It's so freaking easy. It's mind-bogglingly easy. Anyways, if you got any ideas, questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comments. Like always, I try to get to them, and I'm working through them as much as I can. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi.
You and your friends are sitting around the table at the local tavern at the end of the day. You've been living there for a few years. You know almost everybody's face, and it seems pretty quiet until Betsy Buttmaker comes bursting through the door. She charges straight over to your table and looks you dead in the eyes and says, "I need your help. Someone is stealing food from my bakery. What do you do?" One of the hardest things that I've run into as a DM is investigations, and how do players go through investigation? How do you get them to do the right thing in an investigation? The most recent clue I came across was, leaving an actual clue. Anytime that they do a check at any location that you have them go to, you leave one solid clue for them to go to the right location. But I haven't had a chance to truly play with it yet. So let me know how you think you should handle investigations, and as players, how y'all would like to handle investigations. So I really got.
Well, this is awkward. What is up, spirits? So I just think it's one of those ha-ha moments as a DM, especially my goal speaking to younger DMs, or you have that moment, you go to my video and it's like, oh, you should totally do a session 0. Literally a day later, somebody else is saying, well, don't do a session 0. Now, to be clear, what the guy is saying in his video, by the way, their name's Mystic Arts. Here's all their gobbledygook right here. They're a great video and I love their stuff. What he's essentially saying is you want to communicate with your players. We have so much technology and so much ability to talk with your players without ever having to sit down and take up everybody's time, that you don't need to do a session 0, which part of me does agree. However, I feel like that's more for veterans than it is for beginner DMs. And since I'm speaking to young me who really kind of needed this help, don't do this. It's great, but what it ends up happening is you forget to reach out, you forget to talk to them, you forget to do all the important steps that he covers in the video, and then you look up and session 1's here and nothing is ready. They're not ready, you're not ready, the session's not ready. So, if you're a veteran DM, do it. Have a blast. If you're even a little bit seasoned, go for it. If you are brand new, have session 0. But on the flip side, hey, it's your game. Play it how you want. Anyways, again, those folks' names is Mystic Arts. They're brand new, wonderful channel. Love them to death. And thank you for stopping by and saying hi. And remember, y'all need a little bit of whiskey in your life.